Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone from all around the world, Australia, New Zealand, everyone tuning into the InterSim Esports Network right here on the InterSim Esports Network on a Friday night for the Switch Up series. Tonight, we are at Laguna Seca for 40 laps around the track in the Porsche 911 RSR. And joining me in the booth tonight is Peter Gretton and Prue Gooding. Welcome, Peter. How are you tonight, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Another Friday. So the week was long, but as they all are. Welcome, Aidan, Prue, PJ behind the cameras, and all the viewers. Well, you've turned it on again, Aidan. Porsches at Laguna. Laguna's one of my favourites, and the RSR's going to be good to watch around here tonight.
Yeah, definitely a good car to drive around here. Nice stable car, nice stable setup tonight. So we don't have a big field as we haven't had over the last couple of weeks, but the usuals keep turning out, and we can't wait to see how these cars go around 40 laps around Laguna.
14 is going to be plenty, I think. You're still going to see lots of action as they come up the hill to head into the corkscrew. Would you believe? Been talking about it all night, still couldn't get it right as soon as we went live, but there's going to be plenty of action through that fast left-hander we've seen as we finish up practice now. We've been watching and talking about it off air, Aidan, that there's not much overtaking spots here, but they're going to give it a shot. 2x2 through the corkscrew will be good to watch.
Yeah, definitely will. Great track for racing, but Peter, before we go into qualifying, which is a 20-minute qualifying, we do need to welcome our special guest commentator, Prue Gooding, at the moment into the broadcast booth and bring Prue in and say g'day to all the viewers and say hello and let them know what she is looking forward to the most about tonight. So I'll hand over to Prue at the moment. And Prue, good night to you. And what are you looking forward to the most tonight?
Good evening. Thanks for the welcome. Tonight I'm looking forward to the most, just all the races, giving their all as they do, enjoying themselves, hearing the feedback afterwards, and yeah, just wondering what their different strategies are going to be tonight with fuel, tyres, their racecraft around what Pete said, the corkscrew, which is around turn 8 and turn 8A.
Yeah, and really good to hear that with Prue there because she talked about strategy, but we don't have tyres tonight. So it's all about fuel. So where they're going to take the stop and how they're going to manage their tyres is going to be very interesting.
It's going to be good to watch. Fuel, of course, I think to be on the forefront of their mind. Tyres will last in these. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Aidan, that these types of cars, like the GTE cars, they're built to run long distance races and several stints in like the 24-hour Le Mans, Nürburgring, Watkins, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it'll be too hard for them to get through the race on one set.
No, definitely not there, Peter. Lap times definitely may drop a little bit, but it's not going to be a big issue on tyres, and that's why we set that. We didn't want it to be a tyre race where it was just flat out. We wanted these guys to be able to manage their cars over a long period of time. So as we've just gone through practice at the moment, we go into qualifying. And ladies and gentlemen, we're here for round 8 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series right here from Laguna Seca in the Porsche 911 RSR as we bowl out into qualifying at the moment. And the difference tonight is we don't have a standalone qualifying. We are going straight in to an open qualifying session where you'll see all drivers and all cars out on track. But Peter, before we go and commentate on the qualifying sessions, we need to make a big shout out to the sponsors because we get a little bit of excited as we go on into the back end of the races, and it is an hour and a half of watching the broadcast and all that type of stuff. And we get a little bit excited as we see someone go around there, but we need to take time out to shout out to our sponsors. So our sponsors are Mayhem 4x4 Mechanical out of Brisbane, Queensland, Virtual Motorsport Mentor, Chris Purnell, Locked On iRacing or Locked On Lads, Also, another big sponsor of ours in the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. We've also got SimShed Broadcasting, TP Graphics, Vision, Simages, and Voodoo Vinyl and Signs, who is bringing all the amazing trophies at the end of this series. So thank you to all these guys for making it available and allowing us to do this in the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series for round 8 and all the previous rounds. And once more, Peter, thank you again for joining me and Prue in the booth, and Prue as a special guest tonight. We really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, mate. It's like I said at the top of the call that where else would you rather be on a Friday night? And yeah, we do thank all the sponsors and all the drivers. Of course, we could probably sit here, me and you, Aiden, talking about how the grass is moving in the wind, but it's good to have drivers out here to call races for. So big shout out to the drivers as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully the racing's a little bit better than watching the grass and the wind, but you're exactly right. We could watch the grass and the wind, and the green car in front of us at the moment looks a little bit like the colour of grass, so that's a nice little intro there, Peter. But we're now into the first section of qualifying, 2 minutes 37 in. Sam Catakazinos setting the pace early. He was quick all the way through practice. Peter, what do you reckon about Sam's pace through practice, rather? God, I've got to put my teeth in tonight. I'm really struggling.
Well, it looks like what did he get there? 3 purples at the start, so he's just the pace is dropping off towards the end of the lap, so he'd be well aware of that. But you know, it's a 20-minute open practice, something a bit different. We're not really used to that here. It's usually just a short, sharp qualifying session. You blink, you miss it, but something new here, and that's why it's called the Switch Up Series 8, and it's well named as well. You don't know where you're going to be from week to week. You could be dirt ovals to Bathurst in the Legends, Bathurst in the Formula Vs, maybe. I don't know. Is that I'll just leave that there. Drop the mic moment.
Well,
but,
we need to actually. Funny you mentioned that there, Peter. We need to mention that we did promise the guys we're going to have a special event at the end of the series, and with Formula V dropping with a free content, and the thing that we really want to do here on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series is create a lot of free content. I know tonight none of it's free and people have to buy stuff, but a lot of people owned it already. But what we are going to do, and we've made the decision, and I'm about to say I just made the decision. And Prue did actually think of it as she's just in my ear. We're going to do Formula V at Talladega as a special event at the end of the series. So the series will be run and won, and trophies will be given out, but it will be a special event, and it's going to be something different, and it's going to be 4-5 wide action. So looking forward to that one, and we'll probably make that an open session for everyone to join in, so we can get 30 or 40 cars and have a bit of fun, because there is no points with that, but it will be here on the InterSim Esports Network, InterSim Esports Network on a Friday night for that one. So looking forward to that one, Peter.
Oh, definitely. That'd be a barrel of laughs to call that. That will be a barrel of laughs. Imagine getting that 30, 40 Formula Vs around Talladega. Flat stick they would be. And, yeah, it'd be a night to remember, I think. 119.6 for Sam Catakazinos. It's got a yellow, 2 purples, a yellow. He's sitting up the top, only just 1/10. So 119.8, 119.9, Skurlock, 120.8 for Micklemore. Dortanix down there in 6 on a 121.4. Them times will probably come down. We still got 15 minutes, a good part of it anyway. Oh, look at this. Watching the wrong screen. I didn't even see that. That's not too sure who that was, but into these pits. Just one thing. Have a look as we look at one of these awesome Porsches go into the pit lane as he collects the cone on the entry, Aiden. But these cars, these RSR, they're good to drive, and How good do they look? As Aiden stepped away from the mic, and we're riding on board with Skurlock, Edward, Edward Foster, as he goes up the hill, makes his way. So you're going to see a lot of cars go wide around here. I thought I'd be hearing our broadcaster, Paul, count to 7 at this stage. He comes down the the corkscrew. That is going to be interesting to watch throughout the night. There's Porsches, they're quick. They're super quick. They're doing 119, so they're doing sub 120s around Laguna. Still got 13 minutes left though. Plenty of time left in quali. Where is he? Oh, nice. So Lachlan's 121.9. Katakuzanos still with a 119.5, so his time's still coming down. 119.7 for Skurlock. They're coming down already. Semi K just has a little bit of an error, but not much.
And Pete, I need to jump in here right now. We've been absolutely amazed to be able to be having Josh Micklemore in the booth at the moment while he's going through qualifying, and he was allowing us to come up and take him through a lap of Laguna Seca. I'll talk the guys through the lap, but as we go on board with Josh Micklemore, he's now just about to go up over the top of the hill and into the corkscrew. But Josh, I know you can hear us, but you don't need to talk, mate. You just drive and we'll talk you through the lap. So he's just setting up here and going through the left-hander. Really important here to get a nice run out of the right-hander, but more importantly to be able to break that car and get a good run out of the final corner onto the main straight as we go up the hill, right down, up over the hill into turn 1. So Josh collecting 3, selecting 4th, 5th now, and then he'll go down into 2nd, into this corner. Oh, he selected 1st. Oh, really hard braking there. Little bit of oversteer there on exit, up into 3rd, back into 2nd, out into 3rd, taking all the track. Keeps it in 3rd, keeps that mid-range speed up. You saw that he didn't go below 7,000 RPM there. Up into 4th, back into 2nd through that one, and on the power all up in 3rd. 4th. No, he's holding it at 3rd. Oh, that's why I'm so slow around here. I'm learning something here, so thank you, Josh. Up into 4th. And then down into 2nd, 1st into the corkscrew. Big drop off there, just like you're going through Mount Panorama Bathurst. 3rd, holding in 3rd, nice and tight. Keeping it in 3rd, back into 2nd, up into 3rd again, into the final corner. He'll go down into 1st gear, get a good run. Don't take too much curb on the exit there because you will get next point. Up into 3rd, up into 4th. And that's a lap of Laguna Seca. So thank you so much there, Josh Micklemore. I know you didn't really want to talk as you were coming around that lap, but I didn't really do a really good job of that either because I was trying to catch up as quick as you were going. So, yeah, good lap there, mate, and thank you for making yourself available for us on the broadcast booth while you were doing qualifying, mate. So we do thank you.
Yeah, you're right, mate. It's pretty full on here. So, yeah, cool to take you guys anyway.
No worries, mate. Thank you. And sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we just fully flew that on Josh literally 2 minutes ago. So thanks for Josh for allowing us to do that. Means a lot, mate. So thank you. And it was a really good lap. And you actually taught me something there. It was very different to how I drive the track. But we wish you all the best tonight. And thank you again for joining up with us for the next round of the InterSim Esports Network here on a Friday night, mate. And we wish you all the best.
No worries. Cheers, man. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, mate. Take care.
What a nice clean lap too. That was Aiden. Probably there's a couple of little spots. He had a little bit of oversteer moment, but he handled himself well. And yeah, we wish him well. He's going to be up the pointy end of the stick, I think, tonight. With he's sitting in 5th at the moment, but he's a racer as well. And we got plenty of racing to come up. But definitely a name to keep an eye on. Sammy K's been out there all day, so. Can he put that quali pace into the race? I suppose. Excuse me, is the question. But they're all out in quali. 1:19.5 to beat.
Yeah, definitely really quick times. I did 2 laps in this setup, which is just the baseline setup, and I pulled a 1:22.4 on my first lap out, and then I thought, oh yeah, that's comfortable. And these guys have obviously done a lot of laps because they're into the 1:19s, and I can see how they can get it because it's a very comfortable car to drive. Very cool track tonight here too, Peter. It's actually in the real world about 8:50 a.m. in the morning, only about 25 degrees, no wind. Tried to make it a really, really grippy track. So it's no surprise that we're seeing those times come down. So we can see their configuration's full. Obviously, we're in USA. The track length is 3.57 kilometers. Temperature is 28 degrees Celsius. Altitude's 228 meters. Going to be a really, really good night tonight for racing, but we will just go through and give a little bit of information. As we see these guys settle in for qualifying, we'll give it a little bit of information on Laguna Seca. So Laguna Seca Raceway is branded as WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and previously Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. So Laguna Seca is a paved road racing track in Central California, used both for auto racing and motorcycle racing, built in 1957. So we think about that, mate. Like, how long has Laguna Seca been around? 1957 to now. She's an old track.
Yeah, it is. I actually learned something there too, Aiden. But one thing that stuck in my mind with that bit of information is, imagine 3 or 4 bikes side by side down the corkscrew. How good would that be to watch?
Yeah, I reckon sidecars would be better, but definitely an amazing track. So the track length is 2.238 miles, 3.607 kilometers. The race lap record is, the official one standing lap record is a 107.7. So you see what these guys are going around here at the moment. It must have been an LMP1 or an LMP2 to be able to do on those lap times, or even a Formula One car. It was actually done by Helio Castroneves by Team Penske in the year 2000. So must have been an IndyCar with a 107.7. So that's a stupid quick lap around here. It's got an elevation of 5.5 meters, which is about 55 meters, which is about 180 feet, has a downhill plunging corkscrew at turns 8 and 8A, as Prue mentioned earlier in the broadcast, which when I did the lap around here trying to get the setup in, which was only a basic setup, I tried to get something better, but I thought the basic one would have been better for racing. You definitely did lift those wheels just like you're at Bathurst, down through the dipper. So excited to see what we have tonight.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone mentions, or everyone that I know, when the corkscrew is mentioned, it does have a feel of the dipper. The approach is sort of, uphill, similar. No, it's actually downhill. It's the opposite. Oh, stuff that one up. But I don't know. But
Don't worry, mate, I've stuffed
that
everything up all night, so it's all good. That's what we do. We're switching it up on the IndySim Esports Network Switch Up series on a Friday night, mate. So keep switching it up.
Yep. So what I was trying to do, cheers for the save there, Aiden. What I was trying to say is that the corkscrew has a very dipper feel about it. Long-winded, but still, I got there in the end. JCW now, and it's going to be good to see him on the exit in the last couple of minutes of quali. You're going to see a little bit of oversteer, as we just seen JCW do, because It's all about that exit speed. It's surprising, Aiden, how much time you can make up and how much your lap time can come down just from that one corner. Just that exit speed leads you out and you start a good race. And the commitment down in turn 1 and 2, we're gonna see some good racing. There's some very ballsy parts of the track where you really just got to suck it up and just, I don't know, if you've done it before, you can do it again, sort of thing. But tyres, they've got to manage that. But as we've said earlier, I think tyres should be right. These cars are built for long stints.
They are, but they're not built for the short, sharp run. Well, they are, depending on setup. Sorry, this didn't press my button, but they are built for the short setup run if you do have the setup in. But what I've found, all about roll speed, keeping that mid-corner speed, keeping that rev range up, and you'll create a good lap time. We've seen a lot of stuff through qualifying here. People catching the dirt, as we see there with Joshua Carroll-Walden. He's done that twice on this lap. I can say that might not be a good lap, but we're about to find out as he goes across the start-finish line here with only 2.5 minutes to go. But they're definitely about that roll speed. So they can brake really late. They do have a really good aero package, but you want to manage that braking, as that was really good by Josh there. See how there it just tucked in and came out of the corner, and he got on the power really early. So roll speed, mid-corner speed, and keeping it up around here, keeping the speed up around here is going to be imperative. But as we go into the race, and Josh is doing a lot of grass tracking, as we call it, even though it's on the dirt at the moment, keeping the tyres under you in this race is probably going to be imperative. We did a little bit of practice. I think they're going to have to pit stop, but they've only got 75% fuel tonight, so they're not going to be able to take tyres. We have not allowed them to take tyres, so it's going to be a fuel-only race. So who's going to manage their car, I don't know.
And only time will tell, and it's going to be a fairly long race. What have we got? 14 starts, or starters, I should say. You know, it is a small field, but 14 around Laguna, and I'm pretty sure, Aiden, iRacing in control of safety car, if any.
Yeah, 100%. iRacing in control of everything iRacing is. So all their penalties through pit lane or restart infringements or anything that they need to do, it's all done on iRacing. We don't have live race control here on the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series at the moment. We may have it one day, but we're just happy to be able to bring this to the viewers for round 8 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series from Laguna Seca Motor Speedway, or WeatherTech Laguna Seca Motor Speedway, or whatever. I'm used to saying Motor Speedway, mate, because I do oval a lot. So, yeah, sorry, viewers, if I get that wrong, but we're here from Laguna Seca, and we're ready to do 40 laps around the track for round 8 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series. Joined to you here live on the InterSim Esports Network by Prue Gooding and Peter Gretton.
Look at this, an off-track excursion. That's one thing that that we're gonna see a lot of tonight. I think there's lots of runoff, but there's also parts of the circuit where you can come into some drama and hit tires and stuff as well. But I think off tracks, the corkscrew, turn 1 and 2. I think there are a few little just for the viewers there. Just keep that in your mind and have a look at that throughout the night. I'm sure our EP behind the cameras will make sure we get all the good shots tonight. So looking forward to it. It's the checkered flag in quali, Aiden. We're just about ready to do it.
We are, and before we go into looking at the qualifying results at the moment, we'll just quickly run through the top 5 championship standings at the moment. We still do have a drop round to go, and the final round is double points, so it's nowhere near done. And sorry, 2 drop rounds, and no, 1 drop round and double points for the final round. So we are about to go through the top 5 of the championship at the moment. So we've got Michael Skurlock currently on top at with 585 points. Josh Mickelmore second on 505 points. Dave Douglas, 460 points in third. Jason Martin, fourth on 450 points, which hasn't joined tonight, so that's not going to help his championship. Sam Katakazinos, 390 points in fifth. So that's your top five as we have currently gone through qualifying. Peter?
Yep, well, we're in the closing stages. They're just finishing their laps. I think Phil Connor's still on a lap. No, he's not. They're all shutting up shop. But it's been a big build-up, 20-minute open quali, so that's something different. We'll get obviously the feel of the feedback and see if that can that may be something to look at. Oh, excuse me. In the next coming rounds, we may be able to get that to stick. But I keep saying because I'm lost for words. But Laguna Seca is going to throw up a lot tonight.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely, I'm excited there too, Pete. And we're there with the grid at the moment. And off P1 is Sam Katakazinas. Out of P2, Michael Skurlock. P3, Jaden Russell. P4, rounding out the outside of the second row, Edward Foster. P5, Josh Mickelmore. P6, Joshua Carroll Walden, as you'll hear us call him, JCW. P7, Lachlan Urquio. P8, Dave Douglas. P9, Mirko Dortnack. P10, Rob Fletcher. Out of P11 is Norman Clark. P12, Phil Connor. P13, Sean King. And rounding out the field is Mark Johansson.
Grid's locked and loaded. Turn 1 and 2, Aiden, just before we go green. Do you think the guys are going to use their brain leading into that, or is just going to be pedal to the metal, you think?
With a 14-car field here, Pete, I think they're probably going to use their brain, but usually when we say that, we're going to give them the commentator's curse. So hopefully here on round 8 of the Intersim Esport Network, we're going to bring you a lot of content. Small car field, 14 cars, but 14 quick cars, and we're about to go green for round 8 of the Intersim Esports Network switch-up series right here from Laguna Seca in the Porsche 911 RSR.
How good's that field? And it's a standing start, so something different for GT3 cars as well. Aiden, just a quick one to mention.
Yeah, definitely. That's what the switch-up series is all about. Usually they're a rolling start, but we are about to go green as we get the cameras back on the leaders as we have Sam Katakazinos off pole about to take the green. So as the lights go up, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for round 8 of the Intersim Esports Network switch-up series, and we are green. And off we go. What a jump out of P3 there. On the inside, who was on the outside of P2? He was snoozing. Peter, take us through the first lap.
Well, they go side by side. The leaders down to turn 1 and 2. That's what I thought. There would be an incident, but nah, they used their head, as you said, Aiden. But they're all settling in. Oh, the whole field went through there quite nicely. Oh, who was that? Someone's off into the tyres. I'm not too sure what happened there. Well,
What's that,
LEP
Sam?
surely we'll get any replay on that.
No,
but
Sam's out on the lead. Who was that in the replay?
Russell.
Jaden Russell.
I don't know what happened here, to be honest. He just
Oh,
look at this.
just lit him up.
But-
Got a little bit too anxious on the loud pedal there by Jaden.
Yep, cold tie jitters, I think, and that's what you got to look out for here. The track's very undulated up and down, and you got to change direction. Oh, look at this, as we're almost seeing side by side down the dipper. How good does that look? The dipper, called it the dipper, the corkscrew. That's Semi K. He's doing a good job. He's had a pretty clean night too, Aiden. All through practice, all through quali, as he comes around the final turn, and these Mickelmore and Foster behind him are having a battle. But that's one lap done. There's going to be around about 40 laps. And they make their way down. Look at this side by side. He's got the nose down. Who's that? Is that Mickelmore and Foster?
Yeah,
no,
Mickelmore.
Foster on Mickelmore.
Yep. And going back to your thing there on Sam, Sam's been amazing this season in the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up Series. He's the only double winner tonight, so he's going to be going for a triple win in the series tonight. And every time we come to Rhodes, Sam is class above. So he's showing nothing different tonight, and it's still early doors. We're only lap 2 into 40, and they do need to pit, but they don't need to pit for tyres. So we'll see how it happens through the pit stops, but no surprise to see Sammy K up the front, Peter.
Oh yeah, his the last couple of weeks and months that I've watched him, is the progression in his racecraft and the progression in his speed is just, it's been pretty quick. And as you can see now, he led the practice, he led the quali times, he's leading the race now. Lap what are we, 7-2 of 40, getting ahead of myself. It's a big lap here too. It's Laguna. It's a little bit it goes quick, but it is a long lap.
Lap 7, I thought you want to go to bed early, mate. Like it's still early. It's only lap 2. A lot of cards need to be dealt before we get to the end of this one, mate.
Oh, definitely. And just going back to your fuel, like you said, you've locked off. You can't change tyres. They're there to the end. The fuel, I think most of the guys are just going to run the tank out. 75% cap, I think you said in the pre-show. So 70% cap. I think you'll see most people just run that out and just fill up and go to the end. I don't think you're going to see much tricky stuff, but we do have yellows, full course yellows controlled by iRacing. So maybe just keep driving it if there's a yellow pit, but the way they're looking now, nice and clean, they just want to be there at the end, last 10.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure what the fuel strategy will be. From when I was setting it up, I didn't run 75%. I ran 100%. But then I clicked it back. Off 100%, I got around about the 46 lap mark. So I reckon it's going to be a splash and dash. So it's pretty much a 40-lap sprint race with a little bit of a splash and dash at the moment. But we'll see whether that's how it eventuates with the driver. So we see one go wide right there, and that's another spot for that driver. So we're on board there with Josh Micklemore, but it's happening behind them at the moment with the driver going wide. So currently we have Sam Katakazinos or Katakazinos in P1, Edward Foster P2, Michael Skurlock P3, Josh Micklemore P4, Joshua Carroll Walden in P5, rounding out your top 5 here on round 8 of the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up Series.
Yeah, but I've just noticed while we ride on board with our race leader, I've just had a look, and Mirko Dortenic, I'm not too sure if he's got damage or he's just having a little bit of a shocker lap. He's just losing a little bit of time in what I've seen in the last couple of laps, but he is dropping off the back of JCW.
Yeah, he might have got caught up in an instant there as we go on board with Mirko Dortenic at the moment. But we did just see there Sammy K, as we call him, had a little bit of a wide moment, but he's showing a clean set of heels at the front. But Mirko Dortenic doing a great job here in P5 as I see him on the tower at the moment, doing a great drive. So good job by Mirko here at the moment.
Yeah, I think JCW, I'm not too sure if we can get a replay on that PJ, but oh, we do. Look at that. He's so quick on the buttons. Let's see what happened to JCW. I think that was that black car in the tyres here at the top of the corkscrew here, Aiden. Oh, look at this. Oh, he's grabbed it on the entry. You don't want to... Oh, big lose.
Yeah,
big lose.
He just caught the dirt on the entry on the outside left, and that just sent him straight into the fence. So really unfortunate there. But ladies and gentlemen, everyone tuning in here on the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up Series, they do have a fast repair. So that's not the end of his night. He will hopefully come back out and go again, because how easy it was there for JCW, as we'd like to think, is a very, very veteran driver in everything in iRacing, made that simple mistake. So anyone can make that mistake tonight, Peter. It's still another 35 laps out of 40, and we've had a little bit of action at the moment. So we'll see whether we get a little bit of that moving into the back end of the race. But Sam Katakazinos I can never pronounce it right. And I know, and you'll vouch for me, Peter, we actually had a library lesson before we came into this race on how to pronounce the name, and I got it right all the way through the broadcast, and then I've got it wrong all the time before the broadcast, and I've got it wrong every time since we've been into it. So obviously I need to go back to school, but he's showing a clean set of heels at the moment at the front, and driving away at the moment from Ed Foster and Michael Skurlock.
Yeah, he's been clean all night. We've mentioned it probably 5 times, but Semi Katakuzanos, you'd be shout out to Semi. He's a good bloke
You just
too.
got
He's
it
a
wrong
very
again,
good...
didn't you? You just got
No,
it
I
wrong
didn't.
again.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay.
Semi Katakuzanos.
Okay.
And shout out to you, Sam. I actually cheated to everyone that's got his name wrong. I actually cheated last week. I dragged him into because I got perms in your Discord. I dragged him into another room and I had a conversation. I said, "Look, mate, I want to get your name right." And he just walked me through it, and I've said his name wrong probably 100 times in the past, but it's Sami Katakuzanos, and he's doing a good job here tonight as he makes his way around Laguna. He's doing a good job, and he's getting a lead out too as well.
Yeah, he's doing a great job as we go on with him right now. Currently a couple of seconds in front of Ed Foster, doing a great job. We got Dave Douglas in the pit. We'll have to go back. I just heard that through PJ in my ear to see what is happening with Dave Douglas and why he's in the pit so early, unless he's definitely not. He's made a mistake. I thought he was going to be playing the long run, but we'll see what happens here. Or that's actually Dave back out after he... Oh, no, it's not. Oh,
he's just dropped. Yep. That's just a little bit of an off-track, maybe. I'm not too sure if that's what caused it. Did he have another off-track up here, possibly?
We're about to find out, but yeah, weird. Oh, there it is.
Whoa.
Oh, caught a big bit of curb.
Wow.
Oh. He's definitely using a fast repair there, Peter.
Definitely. Bit ambitious going into that fast left-hander, and I did mention at the top of the broadcast, Aidan, that that was one of the places to look as we see, who is that? Is that Semi K gets through some traffic? Or is that Foster behind him? Lap traffic. So through the corkscrew, is probably not the smartest place to overtake a blue flag driver. Definitely, it's pretty hard as you get through there, but he's getting through traffic pretty nice. Now I'm going to call it lap 7 of 40. I've called lap 7 probably 5 laps ago, but Sammy K, all the boys are doing good. Gerlock though, he's coming down to turn 1 and 2. He's still in the hunt. He's 4.3 seconds off the lead. Still got a pit as well for fuel. They won't make it home.
Yeah, it's an interesting race at the front. But, Peter, we do have our special guest commentator, Prue Gooding, here right beside me, my beautiful partner, who is a big part of the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up series. For those guys that do follow us on Facebook, she does all the social media posts. She actually came up with the idea of the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up series and created all this content that you do have for the viewers. So we're going to allow her to jump on with you for a minute here, Peter, and have a couple of laps. And she is a little bit nervous, but let her do a couple of laps around Laguna Seca with you, Peter, and you talk her through the ropes. And here's Prue from the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up series here for round 8 at Laguna Seca.
As she gets her headset ready, Skurlock had a bit of an off there. Welcome, Prue. We don't bite here, mate. It's good to get your voice on to put your voice out there to the viewers. You do a lot of work behind the scene, and you actually had this idea, and it's awesome, mate. Yeah, so good to have you on the in comms here tonight.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and yeah, sitting with Aidan tonight, commentating, and yeah, watching the broadcast live. Yeah, no, I'm just thrilled tonight seeing Sam K and Michael Skurlock in P3 there. Because there's only 85 points between the two, and first and second in the championship. So, it's interesting to see if Skurlock will get any points and still be the reigning champ for the series going into round 9 next week, or will Sam K win, get the 100 points, and Skurlock, get 15 points or less, and Sam K's the new champ.
Yeah, well, we really haven't touched on that throughout this broadcast, but it is a long game. It is a championship. There's all points, as you just mentioned. But Sammy K's on his way to on his way to a win. He's got a 5.1 second lead. It's his race to lose, but can he overtake and get the championship? I suppose Will pointed out it's a big possibility.
Definitely. I'm just so eager to see what the results are going to be this evening.
All my money is on Mr. Semi Katakouzanos. I see that you took the easy way out, and so you should when you mentioned Semi K on your debut. And I think I just put you in it, but that's what we do here. We, bit of fun, bit of banter.
Katakouzanos.
Look at that. She nailed it, Aiden. She nailed it, showing you up on a debut commentary, mate. Well done. Well done. We're riding on board with him as he's going to make his way up the hill.
Yeah, but look, don't write off Edward Foster. We know that he's a great racer as well. He is quite a few seconds behind Sammy K, but, anything can happen.
Yeah. Foster is he's pretty reputable, and he's known around the traps on iRacing, and it's not because he's slow, that's for sure. His name's out there and he's fast. He's sitting in second. He is 5.7 seconds down the road, but he's got Skurlock about a second behind him as well. So those guys, look at them. They're both on shot now as they come down past the finish line down to turn 1 and 2. Big opportunity to make a dive if you're close enough there, as they've just got it done nice and clean. But Skurlock's catching Foster now.
Oh, wow. Yep, there we go. And look, we've seen tonight already, there's been a few races, just, taking a few wrong turns and, off onto the grass there, off track. And, so we don't know who could be the winner. Edward Foster was doing the Le Mans with Aiden last weekend, the 24-hour, and, they did really well.
Yeah, that's just to start a 24-hour race or a long enduro race. It takes courage, because 24 hours is a long time, and it's even though you're not driving, when your teammates are in there, you still got to be up and coaching them, and you can't just go to sleep, because that's bad sportsmanship. So they're awake for the whole 24 hours, most of them, and you just got to help you guys out. I've never done an endurance multi-team event because I don't have the courage to do it. I don't want to stuff it up, because I don't want to sort of let the team down. But I've broadcast a full Bathurst 1000, and that was fun. Well, easy for me. I've got the easy seat, and now Prue, you've got the easy seat. I think sitting back watching these guys race, but it's good, and it's good to be here on a Friday night.
Yeah, and I'm back in here, Peter. Prue's just had to walk away for a second. I do apologise, so I've just jumped in here for a second. But yeah, exactly. It is definitely hard to do a 24 or a 12-hour or even just a 1 hour, to be honest. I think I even mentioned earlier on the broadcast last week that we joked about getting in the wall, and I think I even joked about getting in the wall when I hop out of my sim, just actually running into the wall. So these guys do an amazing job when they tune in and turn up every week to be able to drive. So great job by all involved, and we're really, really happy to have everyone a part of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up series. We've had a great involvement in the earlier section of the Switch Up series. It has dropped off a little bit, and that is due to different racing commitments, and it is a Friday night and there's different things on, but we keep pushing on, and we love the involvement we have and the people that join us every week. So, and we thank you, Peter, for coming on every week again, as I said earlier in the broadcast, to be able to bring this content to the viewers, and also PJ in the background there for bringing all the beautiful images as you see live here on the InterSim Esports Network. And, of course, my beautiful partner, Prue, who's just put a toe in the water and put a voice out there in the broadcasting world. And she was very nervous, Pete, and thank you for making her feel comfortable. And hopefully we'll see her back in the next couple of rounds to jump in and get amongst it, because that's what the iRacing community is about. It's not about feeling uncomfortable or doing anything. It's about creating content and having fun. So, Prue, darling, thank you for jumping on and having a go. Really loved it. I'd love to see you be a part of it and finally get your voice on there, because you do so much behind the scenes for this series. So great to see you on there. And thank you, Peter, again for making her feel comfortable while she was on board.
No, that's my pleasure. That's it is nervous when you first dip your toe in the water. I remember way back when. I've probably done over 300 broadcasts now on my channel, but you know, I was nervous, and I, you know, am still nervous at the start of every stream. You know, I'm not up there with the sim speeds, the AOSCs, and all, you know, the really top, the Race Stars TV. Don't mention him. Don't forget to mention him. He's awesome, Luke. But I'm not up there with them, but I have just as much fun, and it's a learning game. And I remember way back then, my first commentary experience to now. I'm still learning, still nervous. But it's a part of it. You just get into your groove and you just talk, no filter. That's what I try and do, is be right on board with Micklemore. I noticed, I don't know if PJ has still got it there, but we were looking at a battle before when we were rambling on a little bit, and I think Foster and Skurlock, I'm not too sure. How's that battle going, PJ? I think they were getting close there for a minute, Aiden, but I'm not too sure what happened.
Yeah, it looks like there Peter Skurlock had a little bit of a moment and lost a little bit of time there to Foster, which we didn't catch. So we'll see whether Skurlock does try and bridge that gap there to Foster at the moment as they're running P2, P3. But Sammy K, he's gone. See ya. He has gone.
He's gapped it, hasn't he? 6.5 seconds the lead. He's gone.
As he's just pulled a 121.189 as opposed to a 121.291, but Skurlock's just dumped out a 120.960. So it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen.
This battle we got on screen now, Foster, Skurlock. I know we're probably going to watch them a lot, but that's, you know, our job is to bring the entertainment. This is where it is. Position 2 and 3. This is probably going to be the battle of the night, what we've seen so far. Skurlock's probably suffering with a little bit of inconsistency. He did, we just mentioned, drop that right wheel off before, and he lost a lot of speed, a lot of time. Hasn't lost speed. He just done a 120, as you mentioned before. So he's put the boot into it, mate. He's not scared about the no tyre change. So they make their way up to the corkscrew. Big opportunity, too, to make up a lot of time and under-brake people here. But be careful, because we've already seen JCW landed in that tyre wall over there. So commitment, but yeah, you still got to be safe about it. Smart about it.
You see this, Peter. This is a really good drive by Skurlock. He's a sensational driver, and actually recently ex-teammate of mine, unfortunately, but a great driver. He's been up there in this series the whole time. He's the current leader on 585 and sitting there in P3, and his closest rival at the moment in the championship is Josh Micklemore there in P4. So at this stage, without going through the pit stops, and like there is a long way to go here, Peter, but he's going to extend his lead at the top. And Dave Douglas having a very unfortunate night at the moment. He's not up there at the moment. Who was P3 coming into here? Looks like Dave Douglas is out. Oh, there's actually 4 cars out at the moment. So very unfortunate for all those guys. So it's going to be a really big shake-up to the points.
As we see an incident just back at field, Sean King, I don't think it was too much in it, but I'm just going back to 9th position, Sean King and Phil Connor. No, in a lap traffic, I think that is. Not too sure. Probably jumped the gun there. We're riding on board with him anyway, but he's just come on come back on track, I noticed there was a bit of dust, so I flicked around a few cameras, and he just had a bit of an off track, and you can see he's still dumping a lot of dirt on the road. So how accurate do you think iRacing is with dumping down dirt on the surface, Aidan, and making it slippery? Do you think they've got that dust, or is it just sort of a cosmetic thing?
I think they've got it accurate. The thing with iRacing, they're doing updates every couple of months, or every month or two, doing new patch updates. So they did it on dirt, and it got a lot better with the dust model and everything. They did it a couple of months ago with oval with the smoke model. It looks like they've done it again. Oh, as we see, a very tight moment there between Sean King. But yeah, they've made a lot of updates, and I think with iRacing, the more realistic they make it, the better. I love it. As much as it hurts me in my personal racing because it can make it hard, but at the end of the day, I don't want to go racing and make it easy. And I'm not the best driver in the world by any means, but I like to be challenged. So we'll say that, and we'll go a little bit away from tonight's as we see the mid portion of the race, but you got Paul Jackson, who does the cameras tonight. We were in Anscar last night, and we love Anscar, and all the boys around Anscar are really, really great. And we need to qualify in, and the difference with that series and being able to get a part of it is with all these updates and then different tracks and the way that it happens, we don't always get in there, but that's the way we want it, because you want to be able to qualify in on merit, not just to go racing, because it creates better racing. So yeah, I like the updates that they're doing on iRacing. I like how it's making more realistic, harder in different aspects, whether it be having dirt come across the track on a road, whether it be having more dirt come up into your visor on dirt oval, or whether it be the smoke model when there's a big crash in front of you on oval. That's what it's about. It's not meant to be easy. It's about to be the best driver and someone that manages their race the best. And yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm enjoying it more and more, even though I'm not going as well as I used to, or doing stuff in my own personal racing. I'm still actually enjoying it more, and I love it. So the more that they can do in iRacing to keep doing this, I would promote that 100%. But I do need to say, Peter, there's one more thing they need to bring, and I need you to guess what you reckon I was about to say.
100% rain. Rain. That's everyone's guess. We need rain. Michael Skurlock has pulled a bit of consistency out of his where, and he's closing that gap fairly quickly as he goes down to turn 1 and 2. iRacing is the best thing that I've ever seen on a computer. It's my first owned computer, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It may be a bit dear at times, but you know what? You always find the money to buy that track, don't you? As Skurlock is closing the gap even further. This is the battle for second and third. We might even go on board with him when he starts his next lap, I think, and see if he can close this battle. But look at this. Or are we going to see side by side here, Aidan? Hopefully they can get close. This fast left-hander up the hill.
Yeah, Skurlock's not going to be able to make a move up the hill at the moment. It's not the time for him to make it. Don't be surprised if he makes it into the last corner, or he sets him up down to the end of the front straight, rather.
Yep, you want to get good exit speed out of that final turn. But turn 1 and 2 as well, you can, I'm not sure how you take that, Aidan. I haven't really raced around in an RSR. I've raced around in plenty of other cars, but I seem to miss the first apex by a country mile and hit the second. But
it's a very shallow entry there. People get really surprised that they need to go really wide. But the way that the road drops off and it comes down into that camber, it's a very shallow entry. And the exit's a lot wider than what you think. But as we're seeing here with Skurlock,
2 different lines there. Sorry to cut you off. 2 different lines through there. That was an awesome camera work by PJ there. Sorry, Aidan, but we were just talking about the different lines through there, and those 2 boys just done them both. One shallow, one deep.
Yeah, well, I was talking through the the other corner, but that's okay. It's with these cars, when you get right up and behind them, they have such a big aero with that big rear wing. That's for your top end and stuff. Like, it's really hard. You get a little bit of push when you're right up in behind, so you really need to set up it. It's a little bit like a V8 supercar, but on lesser scale. You can follow a lot closer behind in a GT car, but you really need to set up your passes. So we see here Michael Skurlock right behind. See how they took the tight line there with Ed Foster. So we'll see whether Michael Skurlock's going to make a move. He's not going to at the moment. We're going to the final corner, about onto the front straight, backs up the car, tries to get the run, but Ed Foster got an amazing drive there out of the final corner. So Skurlock's going to have nothing for him into turn one at the moment. But knowing Skurley, he's going to be setting that car up ready for a move at some stage in this race with 19 to go in the Intersim Esports Network switch-up series for round 7 here from Laguna Seca.
Yes, Skurlock, he seems to be going a little bit better once the tyres get a little bit worn. There's 21 down, 19 to go, so we're just over halfway. This battle has pretty much stolen the show, the Skurlock and Foster show, it almost is. But they've been sector for sector the whole race. Since Skurlock, he made that little bit of an error, he dropped back, but he's got the he's got a pretty good lap time and it's been very consistent. So fastest lap's 120.1. He's done a 120.3, so only 2/10 off the fastest lap of the race. So, and he's in third. So these guys are just going to keep battling, and we still got a pit stop as well. There's 70%, 75% cap rather.
Well,
I'm
I
not
hope
too
we do.
sure,
I
Aiden.
hope
Yeah.
we do. If I calculated it right, we should have a pit stop. If we don't, I don't know. But if I calculated it right, we should have a pit stop. So, not sure who we're going to go on with. I'm thinking of bringing someone up unexpected really quickly just to see what's going to happen there. And I think Sean King's the best one to bring up because he's currently in P9. There's Mirko Dortnak in the pit at the moment. A couple of guys are out. So I might try and bring that content to the viewers and just try and let them know whether they're going to need to pit. The way that I saw on the fuel, they probably did, but with 22 or 40 to go, we don't know. So all right, so I hear in the in my ear that Norman and Rob have taken pit stops. So we will bring Sean King up though, unexpected, and hopefully he doesn't mind. And we'll just get a bit of an insight and see what he's doing. But while I do that, Peter, you just take the reins of the race, and I'll be back shortly with Sean.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be very good to get some insight around here because this is a tough track. This is a tough track to navigate. These GTE cars, I believe these are the RSRs. They're pretty. They're comfortable to drive. They're set up for the long game, but probably not, as Aiden mentioned earlier, probably not for these short, sharp races. This battle, it's a Skurlock and Foster show. It's tit for tat, and you don't want to hit them hot dogs as well. That'll send you. But a few points to make. I think it's a fixed tune as well, so everyone's driving the same tune. It's the fuel's capped. So and I was going to jump in before talking about fuel that if it is touch and go, have they worked it out? As some guys have been on field, have they practiced? Can they save for 3 laps and make it home to the end and surprise us all and do it all in one hit? So that's something, as Aiden touched on. Look at that shot as they go down the corkscrew. And that was Foster's. He's got the exit speed on Skurlock. But as Aiden's already mentioned, Gurley, he's probably just sitting back. He'd know where Foster's weaknesses are. And that's a part of racing as well, as the mental game, the long game. 24 out of 40, 16 to go. Might even get if we can, PJ. Let's go for just a cock. No, we're going to do that with someone else. So I was just about to steal steal the content. No, we'll wait for Aiden to bring back our driver to do that on board. But it's good to see these guys battling. We got a Sean King, actually, I think he's going to bring up. He's actually in. Oh, look at this. Radio's heating up. If Sean King's in a battle, there's 3 cars, no Sean. Sean just let a couple of cars go, so I'm not too sure who them cars. On the lead lap, we got a car off. So there was, oh, I'm not too sure who that was. But we got our EP. Here we go. We got a replay of what happened here. So a little bit of lap traffic. There was, I'm pretty sure this is the car he had. There he is. Oh, no, it was before that. Gassed it up. He's probably approached that a little bit too late. You want to go hard to the left and just try and straight line that as much as you can. It's probably not the first time that's happened tonight, but so Skurlock's got Edward Foster's. Foster makes it way on the way to the straight, but here is this pass up the hill, on the way to the corkscrew.
Okay, Peter. Aiden, the roaming commentator, is back.
He is back. Oh, no, we just seen in the replay, Foster. So that's that pass. So Skurlock, he did get the position done, but we may have thought that it was a little bit of just a pass because they were smart. We weren't expecting that. Sorry, Aiden.
Yeah, mate, as we just saw Ed Foster go around, the roaming commentator is back. He's just been down into the driver's channel, and he has got the inside word. You need to call me Rihanna Crean, who used to be the Supercars one. I just go down and get the inside goss. So, just went down there, and as we are 25 laps into 40 of round 8 of the Intersim Esports Network Switch-Up Series, Peter, it's about to heat up because we have... I went down and spoke to Sean King. He's a little bit behind at the moment. A lot of pressure from behind. Was willing to talk, but that he got pressure behind. But the big news is Sam Katakazinos. Did I say it right?
Yes. I'm going to stuff it up if I try and correct you. Yes, let's just go with K.
All right, so Sammy K. I got him,
Katakazinos.
and he definitely wanted to come down for a chat, but I got the inside scoop. He goes, just let me get through my pit stop. And I said, when's your pit stop? And he goes, in 11 laps. And there's only 14 to go. So he needs to pit. So everyone definitely needs to pit. But Sean King was already pit. He pit earlier with an incident. So things might heat up here. Ed Foster made that incident. I reckon Skurlock's on for a P2. I reckon Sammy K's definitely got this one in the bag. But how much fuel has Skurlock been saving? But in saying that, seeing how hard he was fighting Foster there, I don't think he was saving any fuel. I think Sam's just got absolute car pace at the moment. So we could be speaking to Sam at the end of the race, and he's going to be the first triple winner at this stage, not trying to put the commentator's curse on him with 14 to go. He's going to be the first triple winner of the Intersim Esports Network Switch-Up Series, and we're only 8 rounds in of our first 12-round series. So Sam missed last week as well. So if he did, God knows where he'd be on points. But Mr. Consistent Michael Skurlock in P3 up there, who's currently leading the championship. Josh Micklemore, also Mr. Consistent in everything he does. Great driver in P4. Going to help his championship, and he'll probably actually move up into P2 in the championship after Dave Douglas's incident tonight. Probably not, actually. I don't know the way our point system works, but great job by Micklemore at the moment. But as I said, Peter, double points for the final 2 rounds, and they've still yet to drop their worst round. So we're nowhere near the finish as we have 4 rounds to go.
Oh, it's a long game. Getting to the pointy end of the championship, that'll be in the forefront of their mind as well. Championship points. Who takes away the? I think Prue said when she was in commentary, 100 points I think is up for grabs for this one. So they're going to start to think of it as we move to the end of the championship. Edward Foster having a little bit of not drama, but he's getting through some lap traffic. So he made that error and Skurlock got past, but it looks like he's pushing. But Skurlock, just funny, just jumping back to him, Aiden, you did mention him. The 120s he was punching out, very consistent 120. So I think he's going to have to pit. I don't think there was much fuel saving in that battle.
Yeah, I don't think there was any fuel saving there. I think it was just pace by pace battle at the moment. I think Sam's a class above tonight. Skurlock there in second. Ed Foster made that unfortunate incident up into the corkscrew. And I know I'm saying a lot, but I'm just trying to focus on all the relatives and what I'm thinking, what's going to happen. But if we look at it, how it's set up with no tyres, just taking fuel, Sammy K's got it in the bank. Lockie Yu just got it a little bit on the dirt there. But being all in all, Pete, it's been a great race by all the drivers tonight. I know we did have a couple of drivers out earlier, i.e. Dave Douglas, Mirko Dortnak, who's still in the pits, which I believe is out of the race. JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walden, Jaden Russell, and Mark Johansson out of the race earlier. It's unfortunate for them. They did have one fast repair, so they must have got into incidents earlier as well. So I'm not quite sure why they're out and didn't take the fast repair, but we might be able to hear that from them, as we're all a part of the iRacing community and we'll hear how their race goes. But we're here again on round 8 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series here from Laguna Seca, and joined by Peter Gretton here in the box. And thank you, Peter, again for being a part of it. But, mate, we go into the final 10 laps of round 8 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. What's been your highlight of the series so far, or highlight of tonight, or anything you want to talk about? What's excited you the most?
Highlight of the series, supercars. You know, I was very, very new and green to supercars on oval. I actually called it. I thought this was a new thing, but apparently no. Supercars on an oval is very common since they bought it out, and I didn't know, but we were there, I think, last week, and that's the highlight for me, Aiden, supercars on an oval. I didn't think it was a well-known thing and a well-used thing around the traps of iRacing, but it was fun. That was very fun. I did enjoy that. That's my highlight of the round. That's V8 supercars on an oval. Never would have dreamed it. Never would have dreamed about calling a race, but it was awesome to watch and call.
Yeah, well, if I was to go back to my highlight had to be round 1 at where we're at Indianapolis in the trucks, in the NASCAR trucks. The first round of the InterSim Esports Network Series, the inaugural InterSim Esports Network Series, and Paul and I and Prue, and even you there, Peter, in the background, like put a lot of work into bringing this to the viewers, and a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of things that happen to be able to allow these guys to go and race, and what a better bunch of people to be able to come and race this series. But my highlight would have to be round 1 at Indianapolis in the trucks. We had, for our first ever race, Jason Martin and Edward Foster cross the line by 0.002 of a second for first and second in the first ever race of our series. That's going to stick in my brain for a long time. It was amazing, and the driving shown by everyone that night, but not taken away from everything. This is a switch-up series. We are going to see different things through dirt, road, whatever, and actually, the second one might be tonight with the clean set of heels that Sam's running tonight, because he has not put a foot wrong. He is showing a clean set of heels, and he has not been headed, Peter. He's no one's been in front of him all race.
No, he's what is he? 10.3 seconds is his lead to Skurlock, and Foster's in third as well, and it's about 4-second gap between them. And then they're the only three, I believe, if my timing says correctly, they're the only three on the lead lap. But you've got Clark and Fletcher. They're the first two to pit. One's down one lap, one's down two. So there's a possibility that Clark and Fletcher could be onto something. I don't think Clark.
Yeah,
I think,
they're
but
down a lap, Peter, because Sam still hasn't pitted yet. Remember, I came on before he said he had 11 laps left. So that's going to put him about around the 34, 35 lap mark. So he's taken the long run here at the moment on his fuel. He's going to stretch it right out and then go again. So people might have pitted earlier, but we'll see how that happens. But Sam still hasn't pitted yet, but he definitely needs to pit. Ed's in the pit now. Edward Foster in P3 is now transitioning through pit lane. He's going to try get the undercut on fuel on a less fuel drop. He can't get it on tyres because they can't take tyres. So he's going to try and take less fuel. So what he's trying to do here is get the undercut on Michael Skurlock on the fuel strategy. Sammy K's pretty much got this covered. You've definitely got your top three at the moment, bar mistakes, pretty much planned out with Katakazinos. Sam K. Can we just call him Sammy K? Like it's just doing my head in. But Michael Skurlock and Josh Micklemore in P3 and Ed Foster P4. It's going to be a battle between Skurlock, Micklemore, and Foster for the podium here, Peter.
Yep, I'm as we ride on board with Edward Foster. He's just cycled through the pit lane and done his thing. I'm watching on my screen. I've got a million things happening here to try and call this correctly. And Skurlock's on a lap. Skurlock is on a lap as he's stayed out. He's stayed out again. So his you may see Skurlock ride with Semi Katakuzanos. I had to think there.
Hey, you got it right.
I did. Semi Katakuzanos. Yeah, so Skurlock, I don't think he's going to have the legs. There's 11 seconds. They're still yet to pit. I don't think he's going to have the legs to get him, but I think Foster and Skurlock is going to be the battle.
Skurlock still needs to pit, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. I think he's going to go with Sammy K with that, I think.
Yeah, so he's going to follow Sam. Micklemore's still out, so by the time they transition, but Skurlock's still doing great times. His last lap was a 120 odd. He's doing good times, so the car's very comfortable underneath him at the moment. But Ed Foster Skurlock battle is one that we really need to watch. Sam Katakuzanos is definitely got this one grabbed by the horns, but the interesting battle that we need to see is Skurlock and Foster, I think. I don't think Micklemore is going to be there, but he's probably going to be P4, but I'm just trying to catch up on these pit strategies and what they're doing at the moment. So as we're on board there with Sam Katakuzanos, he is absolutely class above tonight. Great job. Every time we go to road, do you notice the 3 road tracks we've done this year? Sam's won.
He's definitely very well at his circuit racing and road racing, and in the RSR, it's 12 seconds of lead, still yet to pit. You got Skurlock's going to go with him by the looks with his strategy. Micklemore's still yet to pit as well in third, but he's quite way down the track, 44 seconds, in fact, off the leader. But Semi K, well, what can we say? I'm a poet now. I'm trying to put things together that rhyme. Not really, but
we just need to call him Special K.
Yeah, nah.
Just like the breakfast cereal, Special K. Every time he comes to a road track, every time he comes to something that is more than turning left, more than turning right, he is just an absolute champion. He just shows a clean set of heels. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not that simple. Like, it might only be a 14 car field, but you've got to brake at the right point. You've got to get your apexes right. Like, he's not driving against mugs. He's got a lot of good drivers around him, and he is driving away at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So it's a great drive here by Sam here on a Friday night for the Inter Sports Network Switch Up Series. So great drive by Sam. As we go back to P3 there, Josh Micklemore, he still needs to pit as Skurlock. I believe he needs to pit anyway. As we see Skurlock in P2.
Or is this a safety car? Is this a safety car? Lockie is on the side of the road. Oh! As we go to a replay here, what happened? This is Lockie U. I'm not even going to try.
Lachlan Urquio.
Yeah, that's
or
it. Straight.
It's a Quijo. I believe it's a Quijo. Lockie, please watch this back and correct me.
Where's he spin? He was on the road there, Aiden. He just straight lined. He just straight lined the corkscrew a little bit. He would have got a slowdown with that as well. But we did see him before we went to this replay that he was horizontal with the screen. Oh, here we go. Last turn, is it? No idea. He was sideways on the track, I'm telling you. Maybe he gets down to, we'll right on board with this replay because I'm a little bit curious. He was sideways down here, I think, in turn 1, or the part of turn 1. Well,
iRacing making a liar of us.
I'm clueless. He was horizontal with the track when I was first seen him. I'm clueless. He was sitting there. He has jumped to pits now. So
there we go.
Thanks, PJ. Filled us all in. And he lets the guys pass as well. I thought that was an unsafe rejoin when we watched that live, but nah. Well, that clears it up a little bit. Just a little bit of an error. Ooh,
All right, so Sam Katakuzinos has come and taken his pit stop. Skurlock is staying out longer. Josh Micklemore has decided to stay out as well by the looks of it, or he might have taken his pit stop considering he's still behind Sam. Ed Foster is there, who took his pit stop earlier. We'll see what happens here. Looks like Sammy K is in the box seat. Unless Skurlock has saved enough tyres. No, he hasn't. Oh, enough fuel, rather. So Skurlock definitely hasn't. So we're about to see the change for the lead here. Sammy K will take the lead. But is Micklemore and Foster going to overtake Skurlock? What do you reckon there, Pete?
Well, first of all, is I just looked at the last lap times I've had up on my timing, and Sammy K actually he put the boot down the last few laps, and he was doing 120s, and Skurlock was doing 22. So I was surprised to see Skurlock stay out that extra lap. But all them guys that jumped first, you've got Micklemore, he's yet to pit as well, but the top 7 have pit.
Oh, so we see Edward Foster coming onto the straight here at the moment. Big gap in behind Skurlock. So don't know what happened there with Micklemore.
It's an 18-second gap now in between Skurlock and Foster. 13 between Semi Katakuzinos and Skurlock. So we got our EP in our ear just trying to find what happened to Foster. I think he's lost a lot of ground, Aiden.
Yeah, don't know what happened there. I thought Micklemore and Foster would have been on the back of Skurlock there. Don't know what happened there as we see the Natari Autosport Porsche 911 RSR with a little bit of damage on the back end of the car. So don't know what happened. Something may have happened. We'll try and figure that out before the end of the race, but not sure if we're going to be able to, ladies and gentlemen, because we're only 2.5 laps until we are at the end of round 8 of the Inter Esports Network Switch Up Series right here from Laguna Seca, WeatherTech Laguna Seca Speedway. I keep calling it Speedway. It's Raceway. WeatherTech Laguna Seca Raceway here in the United States for round 8 of the Inter Esports Network Switch Up Series. But we are on board with Sam Katakuzinos I'm doing that on purpose now, just to try and make you tell me how to say it.
Yeah, so I'll school him, Sammy. It's Sammy Katakouzanos.
Sam Katakouzanos.
That's him.
So yeah, we are on board with Sammy K. See, Sammy K, you're going to be called that the rest of the year. I'll call you tomorrow, mate, and you can give me a tutorial because I'm doing a terrible job tonight. Michael Skurlock in P2, Ed Foster P3, Josh Micklemore P4, Norman Clark P5, Rob Fletcher P6. It looks like Phil Connor P7 is still going. Lachlan Equijo, Sean King, Michael Dortonak still in pits. Lots of people with repairs. So it looks like, guys, that we've only really got about 7 guys that are actually still going in this race. So look for the points to change, but it looks like coming out of this round that Michael Skurlock is going to extend his lead here on the Intersim Esports Network Switch-Up Series. Edward Foster's probably going to make a little bit of a jump there as well. Josh Mickamore is going to consolidate his P2, and Sam Katakouzanos is I can't even say it. Yeah, I just said it before. He is going to make a lot of movements up through the field as well. Rob Fletcher, who had a really, really great drive in dirt earlier in the season, is going to make moves as well, and Phil Connor will. So the series points is going to be really shaken up, and considering we've got double points for the final round, final 2 rounds, and we have a drop round, it's still a long way to go. So I say, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in here on the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up Series, there's still time to register, and we are going to have a second series, if the numbers permit. But there's a lot of time and effort that go into this through sponsors, people supplying trophies, content, all that type of stuff. So if you want to get a part of it, you still can on a Friday night. We usually average around 20 drivers. We have 14 tonight. It's a great series to be a part of. So get amongst it. You can still come in and be amongst it, even though the series has got 4 rounds to go. But come in and drive these drivers, because some of these drivers are some of the best sim racing drivers that we see through oval and road in different disciplines across the iRacing community. So please jump in and get amongst it, because us from the Intersim Esports Network love bringing this to you. If you do have any other information that you want to bring to us, or any ideas on what would make it better, or what you'd like to do, because we are one of the only multi-discipline iRacing leagues here in Australia and New Zealand that do it regularly. I know there are a lot out there. Definitely
Sammy K
do.
wins.
As we see Sammy K go across the line. Sorry, guys. I thought we were a lap before. My apologies. So our winner for round 8 of the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up Series is Sammy K, bringing it home. P2, Michael Skurlock. Good drive there by Skurly. Round out that fuel as much as he could, and bringing home P3 will be Ed Foster for Natari Autosport there in P3. And sorry there, Peter, I was just talking a little bit about the series, and I thought we had another lap to go, and my apologies, mate. I like the sound of my own voice.
Don't we all? Don't we all? That's why we're in a that's why we're commentators. But no, it was all great information. But Skurlock, drive to the end. He really didn't have the start. I suppose we'll get some drivers in after the race, but good drive by Sammy Katakouzanos and Skurlock. Well, he's probably didn't have the best start to the race. I think a few inconsistencies there. Edward Foster, we'd like to see or hear from him what happened, because he dropped off from that lead pack, being Sammy K and Skurlock. So Skurlock, great drive though, but can't take it away from this guy. Well, we're on screen with Phil Connor. I was actually looking at my own one, but Sammy K, you can't take it off him. He's been a fierce competitor on road, and a welcome competitor. here, Aiden, and that was a good race. RSR's at Laguna. It's done and dusted. 40 laps. Sammy K, Skurlock, and Foster's your podium. How good was it? That was good racing.
40 buckets of sweat it was. I swear. That was hard work.
Oh, well,
I
hey,
really
Sammy,
enjoyed that. That was a really good combo for me. I really, really liked it. And
hey, Sammy, I'll
good.
just, sorry to cut you off. I just want to say at the top of our interview, I called you as Semi Catacousinos. That is correct, my man, isn't it?
oh yes, you nailed it.
I did.
Gold
Thank
star.
you.
Gold
I was
silver for
schooling
you
Aiden.
incoming.
Well,
I was
Sam,
schooling Aiden all race, but awesome race. I'll cut across to Aiden. It was great to call, but Aiden.
Sam, I must say that he did school me all night. I stuffed it about 16 times, even though we had this conversation last week. So I do apologise in advance, mate. So we might have to have a schooling lesson during the week. But
I
yeah,
have to
great.
go back and watch the video.
Oh, mate.
It's a barrel
yeah.
of laughs.
Yeah. Yeah, you will be shaking your head, mate. But we try. But I thought my name sometimes gets mispronounced. But anyway, go back and let's focus on the job at hand. But Sam, mate, great drive tonight. You're the first 3-time winner. You were the first 2-time winner of the Intersim Esports Network Switch Up Series, and you missed out last week, unfortunately, not being able to join. And you come in tonight and killed it, mate.
Yeah,
Great
last
drive.
week I brain farted last week. It was week 13, and a few other things came up, and my rhythm was off for the week, and I just completely, came and went, and I realised the day after, oh shit, forgot to do it, and it was a good combo. It was V8s on an oval, which I love, but yeah, I missed a few races during week 13. I was off habit, off the routine.
No, that's all right, mate. That's all right. Great drive tonight. Absolute class above, actually. Got to like a 8 to 12 second lead there somewhere through the middle of the race. I saw you and Skurlock took the fuel mileage right to the end. I didn't really know what the fuel mileage was going to be setting up the car. I knew it was going to be close, but I knew you weren't going to be able to get to the end. Were you just thinking, let's just drain this tank and get to the end, considering the track position you had?
Yep. During the practice and the quali, I was having a look at the fuel numbers and the fuel run, and yeah, my apps that I use, my squillions of apps that I use, were telling me 40 laps ain't going to do it, but it would be close. And I think it was about 5 laps too short or 6 laps too short, and I thought that's not enough to do fuel saving. So it was all out. Just go from the start and keep it clean. Stay off the dirt. Stay off the other cars. A few scary overtaking moments during the race, and yeah, just drive. And I'm really glad I did some practice entries on the pit entries, because that one always screws me up, Laguna Seca. I think I get it, and then I nerf the nose into that tire wall. I didn't get it, but this time it was good. Take it easy, and yeah. The start was amazing. I actually got to clutch off the start. This isn't a car that we normally start off the start line, so I had to do a bit of practice, and it worked out well. So I'm happy about that. And I ended up in front, so that ended up being better. And then behind me, a few cars got into trouble early in the lap, and I think that gave me a gap. And then I think Edward and Josh, I think, were having a bit of a battle during the race, which I think didn't give them a chance, I guess, to have a go at coming back up to me. So I think that's how it went. But yeah, happy how it turned out.
Yeah, you did great, mate. We'll just get you to stay online for a second, but you did mention the start line with a standing start. That's why we call it the Switch Up Series. GT cars usually they do a rolling start, but wanted to make it a little bit different. That's what we do here on the Switch Up Series. So good to see everyone get off the line and actually have a really clean first couple of laps. There was a few unfortunate accidents, but majority of the accidents, well, I'd say 99.99 were self-inflicted. So really, really good job, mate. But we'll let you stay online and we'll move across to second place at the moment, Michael Skurlock. Skurly, you got a copy, mate?
Yeah, buddy. Hello.
Hey, mate. How'd your race go, mate? I know that Sam had amazing pace at the front, but you and Ed had a great race through the mid to late sector, and Ed made a little bit of a mistake up through the corkscrew, which allowed you to get track position. How'd your race pan out, mate?
Yeah, it was exhausting, man. Tiring. But yeah, no, it's those cars handled a lot better than I thought it was. So it's been a long time since I've driven that, and no, it's good. I like the way it drives. I like that track because it's like a driving school on the track. It tells you where to brake, where to turn in, like with the white lines and the red apex thing. So like teaches you how to drive at the same time. So I always like driving around there. But yeah, no, Ed was doing well for ages then, and then he was on the same lap. We both had like a synchronized half slide, and we both sort of spun out, and I managed to like double stamp the throttle and the accelerator, and it pulled the car straight again, and I just got it to go again. So, but yeah, I had nothing for Sammy though. He doesn't make many mistakes up there. I sort of need him to make a few more bobbles if I'm going to get anywhere near him. He just solid lap.
I need to share a story about a mistake, but yeah, I'll hold my mouth until later.
Yeah, we'll get onto that story afterwards, Sam. I'm looking forward to hear that story. But Skirly, mate, yeah, good drive. I don't really know what more to say because it was a good drive. I saw that you were holding your fuel there and trying to make your stop as late as possible once you got the track position on Ed. But Peter, anything you want to ask Michael before we move on to Ed, and then we'll talk to the boys outside of this. Well, sorry, we'll talk to the boys again before the end of the broadcast.
Yeah, I do, mate. Skirl XP here, mate. I noticed you look a little bit more, or you looked rather, or I seen it as you looked a bit more comfortable in the car in the later stages of the race. You looked like you had a lot of pace. You were sitting on 120s there, so we knew you weren't fuel saving. But was that a fair call? Like you did feel a little bit. It looked like you felt a little bit uneasy in the opening starts of the race, but you sort of got into your groove towards the middle and back end.
Yeah, I'd say it's a fair statement. I think once the fuel comes out of these things, it's faster. So that's probably why. And lighter it is, the easier it is to drive too. But for the first half of it, I was just stalemating behind Ed. So I couldn't really do anything. Like one lap he'd be better, next lap I caught up again. But I'd never there was never an opportunity to pass sort of thing. So it was, it's easier to drive once you get a bit of clean air. So once we both had that mistake and I got around, then I had no one in front of me, so it was just easier to drive, easier to pick your lines, and so yeah, I did start getting better. I did get comfortable as I went along.
And Skirly, real quickly, sorry to cut you off, Peter. Funny you mentioned that because I mentioned in the broadcast, and you can call me a goose if you want. You've done it before. That's a joke.
Yeah, I will.
Did Aero play a little bit of part in it? Like when you got really close behind them and behind Ed and having that Aero, did it heat up the front of the car and stopped you being able to make a pass, or it didn't really do it in this car?
Nah, I can't say that it felt bad at all. It felt fine. Felt good, better almost.
Yeah, okay.
It was, yeah. I'm not the sort of dude who's just going to throw it in flat out into a corner anyway, like I wasn't going to get around him without running straight into him, so.
Yeah, it was just there on the broadcast. I watched something. I didn't know whether you were waiting or whether you're just struggling to get the car turned in when you got really close behind Ed. But I haven't done a lot of laps in these cars, so yeah, just trying to get a feel from your point of view. So there we go, viewers. It definitely wasn't. You were playing the smart game. So thanks for the insight there, man.
Oh, I wasn't really playing the smart game. I was just going as fast as I could. I wasn't holding back. Like, I mean, we were keeping up with Sammy for a while there. Like, me and Edward were doing pretty decent pace. Kept him at like 4.5 seconds for, fairly long time. And then after a while, he stretched it out a little bit. But
I did
Just
call it
chiming in.
as the. Oh, sorry, mate. I did call it as the Skurlock and Foster show there for a bit, but we've got on screen now some of the battles. It was good to watch, mate. But
It was great.
yeah,
Oh,
it was
good.
very good to watch.
Well, Skirly, if you can just stay on for a sec as we go up to P3, Ed Foster, mate. Great drive for P3. I know you would have wanted a P2 there with an unfortunate incident there through the corkscrew, mate. But great solid drive there for a P3, and good to see you back on the InSim Esports Network Switch Up Series for a Friday night.
Thanks.
Man, a few words.
Look,
How'd your
ask-
race
ask
go,
a
mate?
question and I'll answer it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, righto. You had a good battle with Skurlock. Talk us through that, mate. It was fairly intense there for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, you know, I haven't actually felt that uncomfortable during a race for quite a long time. I couldn't find a brake balance that worked for me. Everything seemed to either lock the rears or lock the fronts. There was no happy medium there. And, you know, I was struggling to find a good line through the fast corner before you get up to the corkscrew. And then through the corkscrew itself, I was just hanging on, you know, and as the run, it's kind of interesting to hear Skirley say that he was getting more comfortable as it went on, because I was getting less comfortable as time went on. And I could just feel that, you know, I wasn't feeling a great deal of pressure from behind, because to be perfectly honest, I really didn't mind if he got a run. I wasn't going to go hold him back. I was, you know, second, third, really doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me. So, yeah, I wasn't feeling a lot of pressure from that respect, but I just, could not, I could feel an error was coming. I knew sooner or later I was going to make a mistake, and just, you know, my lap times were horribly inconsistent. You know, I'd do a good one, then I'd do the next one, it'd be like a second slower or something like this. It was all over the shop, and normally I'm not like that. So, very uncomfortable, very difficult, and then obviously had the bit of an issue where a bit of a misunderstanding with Josh, as I went to sort of potentially line him up for a pass as well, and just snatched the rear brakes, and into the fence she went. So, recovered a P3, didn't really lose anything in the end, but yeah, that's the way it goes.
And from that, you made a good comment about feeling uncomfortable, and uncomfortable about the car and what you were driving. We did the Le Mans 24 together, as you know, and you're an amazing driver and did amazing in that, as always. What made you more uncomfortable tonight, though, that you were always worrying about making that mistake and just thinking that you were going to make that mistake? Because usually that's not the way that you feel inside a car. Like, what was it about it?
I couldn't find a balance. Like I say, you know, I was playing with the brake bias to try and make it do something, and I just couldn't. I spent all my time trying to correct locking rather than actually find something that gave it a nice turn into the corner. And I just, you know, I'm not overly comfortable normally. It takes me a little while to get used to cars with sort of, you know, traction control and stuff like that, because it kind of changes obviously the way you need to drive it. And just never really got my head around it. It's a fairly low grip surface here anyway, and just couldn't get a balance on it. Couldn't get a consistent balance anyway. It seemed to be oversteering and understeering. Then, you know, it had kind of changed lap to lap and so on. I just never really got a handle on it. And it just seemed to get worse as the fuel burned off, or perhaps it was a result of the fact that I kept locking tyres that I was wearing more than some of the other guys or something. But yeah, either way, it was pretty hard.
Well, either way, mate, you did an amazing job. You got yourself on the bottom step of the podium. Good solid drive here on the next round, the InSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. So thanks for joining again. You have missed the last couple of rounds. Out there having fun, as you should do, mate. So we appreciate you jumping on here again tonight, and look forward to seeing you hopefully here next week. But Peter, we need to move on. We've got the guys up here. We need to let them go, but we will work backwards. And since we're currently talking to Ed, we'll let Ed have the limelight right now, and then we'll move through the top three. So, Ed, mate, before we let you go and go have a good night, mate, anyone you want to have a shout out to tonight before we let you go on a Friday night?
Oh yeah, just all the guys that we're out on track with. without other guys showing up, we don't have anyone to race. So, Sam did a brilliant job. Skirley did a great job, as he always does. Everybody sort of behind. I could hear there was some, people. The back markers were relatively good as well. Thanks for all the guys for showing up and yourselves for putting on the series and the broadcast and everything. So it's good to come in on one of the Friday nights when I'm home and have a bit of a race. It was cool.
And quick question before you go, mate. I know I said I was going to let you go, but we're going to go into season 2 in a couple of weeks. Is there any feedback you can give us on what you think would make this series better?
Oh, do you really want me to go through that on the broadcast? No, I can't think of anything now off the top of my head, but I mean...
I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like that you would like personally, not telling us how to run our series. What would you like personally?
It's a weird question. No, not really.
No, fair enough.
I mean, if you wanted to maybe chuck a Camel GT car in there 1 week, I wouldn't complain. But...
I was more going on what you'd like personally. But anyway, no worries, mate. Thank you for making yourself available. Wrong leading question, but have a good night. There we go, guys. Ed Foster from the Natari Autosport, 3rd place tonight on InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series. Skirley, mate, great drive as always, mate. Champion driver, champion bloke. Anyone you want to shout out on tonight?
Oh, mate, just the usual, having fun, mate. BMX Bandits, the movie.
What was that? BMX Bandits a movie. All right.
That's a shout out and a half, mate.
Mate, any shout out? Good shout out.
Send me an angel.
Seen it in years.
Hang on, are we going to get a shout out to hula hoops again?
No, I'm over them.
Hey, mate,
over them now.
Your message to me the other night, I'm here now. It's funny, but anyway, good job tonight, mate. Well done. Thanks for joining again, mate. So, consolidated your championship lead. So well done.
Yeah, cheers, boys, and good win, Sam.
Thank you.
So, Sam, quick one before we let you go. P1. So, anyone you want to shout out to, mate?
My team Bushwing Racing. Thanks for keeping me. You guys, InterSim, for running the series and the broadcast. And I really, like I said other times, I really do like what you offer. And some weeks I enjoy, and some weeks, I could do with some improvement. And special shout out this week to Clark Rubber. I went ahead and got some more foam, cut the shape, and put it as inserts on my seat, my fiberglass seat, and that held me in really, really tight. So amazingly, I felt like I did much better in the car, or with other cars as well, because I got a bit of a back problem, and anything that exerts gives me a bit of pain, especially if I do, like, say, 40 laps of it. So that's a good bonus. I think I'm going to keep the seat and add the padding when I need it, because I don't think I want to be. It's my my everyday chair as well, so I don't want it tight like that all the time. But during the race, keep my legs together, keep my my back stop from flexing, and the force feedback comes through really nicely, and I can feel even more minute details. So I'm very happy about the 50 or so bucks that I bought at Clark Rubber. So shout out to them, and but I almost missed the grid today because I got up to get a stretch and whatnot, and I knocked my mouse and it fell to the floor, and the batteries cover went open and the batteries flew everywhere. And I almost missed the start because I was scrounging the floor for the batteries to come back so I can click on race and get onto the grid.
Well, you go from scrounging around to get your mouse batteries back in to taking a race win. So another night in the office, Mr. Semi Kata Kuzanos. I stuffed it on the last one. Nah, you're a good bloke, mate. Congratulations to the whole podium. Thanks to Aiden, PJ, and Prue on debut in the commentary seat. She does a good job. But Aiden, it's another good week here, mate. Thanks for having me on board.
No, great week. Another round of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series run and done, as I like to say. Some usual suspects up the front, but some great drives nonetheless. So we'd like to thank everyone for joining us here on round 8 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series on a Friday night. Join us here on 7:30 on the InterSim Esports Network. P1 Sam Katakazinos, and I know I said that wrong, but that's what I'm saying.
No, you said it really well. That was really good.
Okay, Sam Katakazinos. P2 Michael Skurlock, Edward Foster in P3 from Natari Autosport, Josh Micklemore in P4, Norman Clark P5, Rob Fletcher coming in P6, Phil Connor P7, Lachlan Equijo in P8, Sean King P9, Mirko Dortnack P10, Dave Douglas P11, JCW Josh Carroll P11, Jaden Russell P13, Mark Johannesen P14. But as we're about to round up here for round 8 of the InterSim Esports Network Switch Up Series, thank you for joining us here on a Friday night from 7:30 p.m. Joining me in the booth, as always, Peter Gretton, and a special guest tonight, Prue Gooding. Thank you to all the drivers. Thank you to Paul, PJ, there in the background doing all the cameras, everything involved here on the InterSim Esports Network. And that is round 8 of the InterSim Esports Network from Laguna Seca and the Porsche RSR. And we look forward to seeing you next Friday night here, same time, same network. And we will see you then. Thank you.